correspondent in Washington, Fraser Jackson, expands on that, telling us all the implications.
Well, the deep freeze has set in here in D.C., but relations between Washington and Moscow are certainly thawing today. The first official contact between Putin and Washington since the Ukraine war started. Western diplomatic isolation of Russia then seemingly crumbling in that 1 hour plus phone call. Well, Trump posted about this phone call before he told Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine about it. He then spoke to Zelensky afterwards. On True Social, he called the phone call with Putin, quote, lengthy and highly productive. He said, President Putin even used my very strong campaign motto of common sense. Perhaps there a slight insight into the tactics being used by Vladimir Putin to try to woo Donald Trump in all of this. He said, we agreed to work together very closely, including visiting each other's nations. Well, in a press meeting in the Oval Office later, he then said that that first meeting would likely be in Saudi Arabia with Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia and Vladimir Putin before any other meeting between Putin, Zelensky and Trump would take place. Trump also later saying that the negotiations would be starting immediately. And I think, to be honest, the part that's not getting most attention, but I think is actually the most telling part of what Donald Trump said today, was when he was asked, do you view Ukraine as an equal member of this peace process? And he paused to think about his answer before saying that that's an interesting question. That is a world away from what we would have heard from Joe Biden and even the Europeans, who say that there has to be a European presence at these talks because any future security agreement of Ukraine should include Europe as well. So a massive departure there from the United States. Trump also said that he intended to continue sending financial support to Ukraine, and that he wanted it to be, quote, secured. He's mentioned these rare earth elements, things that the United States needs and Ukraine has an abundance of. He also said if we didn't do that, i.e. didn't continue the aid, that Putin would say he'd won. That's therefore then the clearest signal yet that he recognises that the aid could be a leverage in acquiring a deal for peace here in Ukraine. So a very telling day, and when we're looking at Donald Trump's hand, but how it's going to lay out with all the cards specifically is what we're still waiting to find out.